Our final point that needs to be made when it comes to changing companies to become a reliability-driven company, to create the processes that deliver the outcomes that produce great success, is that all this is being done by people. We can define what to do, we can specify what to do, we can write documents that are very clearly the correct thing to do, but they will all be done by the management, the workers, the people in that business. So when it comes to helping people adopt the right techniques and practices, there's a change process required. So PW can feed in the correct requirements, can come right down to financial justification, can even show you how much money you're going to make out of these changes. But making the changes happen is the company's responsibility. What we will do, because we understand where they're going to have to go, because we've been with them through all the groundwork and the development of this understanding, we want to partner them into this better future. But the better future will require understanding change management is a component of success, an important part of success. In the end, PW will have documentation. It'll be a written solution, a scripted outcome that we simply will make happen in the business. But the business has to be the players in the movie. We'll write the script, we'll define it clearly, we'll specify things clearly, make sure it will pay back money. But the players are the people in the business, and they have to take their parts, do their role, improve what they're doing, and get better all the time. So I want to talk a little bit about what change management is, and realising that we are wanting to help companies make that change. A lot of research done already in change management. John Cotter is very famous in the area. There are many other gurus. These are typically professors that have gone into industry looking to see that successful companies, why they were successful in their change management process. It normally can be summarised in 8 bullet points. I've seen other ones that are in 5 bullet points, but in the end they all contain this requirement. One is to understand that the world as it is now will not stay the same. The world is changing, it will always change, it must change. It's the nature of the situation that we're all in. If that change goes against us, we are in trouble. So we have to push up urgency and understanding that we have to move forward. So we don't say that we are no good, we don't say this company is in trouble, we don't say this company is going down the drain, we're saying we have to move forward. What was good in the past won't be any good anymore in the future. It got us to where we are today, and now we want to get a new way to get us where we want to go tomorrow. So the world is changing, and we have to be ahead of that change, else we'll be in trouble for sure then. Needs to be a guiding team. This team are senior people with a mix of middle management and a mix of shop floor guys. These people are the sort of people that you know believe in what they're doing. They're going to be competent, trustworthy, and they've got to have the authority to make the change when the decision's made. When this team decides we are going to introduce precision maintenance across every single plant, they do it. They approve the money, the time, the resources, because that is their job to do that. Obviously this vision is vital. Now, why do we want to do this? Why do we want to go to the moon? Why do we want to build rocket ships? Why do we want to be the leading light in this area? We've got to have a vision there, and then the strategies to achieve the vision, of which Planet Equipment Wellness feeds into those strategies, become very clear. Simple words, clear picture, uplifting vision. This is the issue of describing Planet Equipment Wellness in 10 or 15 words. I need a vision that, as soon as I see it, I'm on board. I understand where you're going, and I want to be part of that success. Clearly, we have to communicate that vision and strategy in many ways, and it's got to come from the heart. We're dealing with people, with human beings. I cannot win people over with a piece of paper. It's got to come from the leading people in that guiding team, and it's clear. Now, this guy believes it. This guy's going to live and die on this belief. So we've got to have that heartfelt message through many channels, typically 5 or 6 different ways: emails, video, face-to-face, roundtable meetings, whatever is necessary to explain why and the value and the sense of us doing this. Remove barriers. Human beings will naturally say, everything's okay now. I'm going to push back. Not that they want to cause trouble. It's just that it's human nature. You know, why are we doing this? I'm happy now. Why we want to make a change? So these barriers is recognition that they exist. They will always be there. They are normal outcomes of everybody's concerns. We need to have answers. These strategies have to answer those barriers in a way that is believable. If it's all pie in the sky stuff that has no foundation, that has no plan to go from today to our new vision for tomorrow, if there's no clear plan that is true and honest, it becomes pretty clear that this is all a game. What we need to do is prove that this plan and strategies and vision will produce the outcomes. So we're looking for some short-term wins with this new way of our future world. So success breeds success is really what it comes down to. So when it comes to PEW, we intentionally want to minimise how big a job project we're going to take on, because if it's too big, then it just becomes very, very hard to work with. Nonetheless, once things do work better, then people can see it. Now, their own eyes will tell them, hey, you know what, this is better than what it was. Maybe there's something here I should pay attention to. And of course, then we keep rolling it, wave after wave of change until the work is done. My issue here is I don't want to take 6 years. 2, 3, 1 year would be fantastic. And my personal vision with PEW is to turn this into a 1 year turnaround. Within 3 months, huge change. Within a year, bedded down and a successful future forevermore. That's part of developing PEW into a one best way of delivering reliability and high uptime to companies. Not there yet, but I suspect as people begin to use it and as people find better answers, that model of 2 or 3 years, I think it'll come down to much, much less. Then of course, the secret, the magic, is to make it a habit. Make it a culture of excellence, a culture of reliability. Now I don't need paper. Now it's in my heart. It's in my subconscious. Now when you do something wrong, hey, we don't do it that way here. We do it the right way every single time. We measure, we gather data, we prove it, we test, we confirm. We are scientifically approaching our decision making. This is going to make money for us. Where's your model? Where's your financial model? Go back and model those decisions. Come back to me with facts. Once people start saying that at the shop floor, to their managers, to their CEOs, then the culture's there. Then their thinking is correct. And all this is nothing until the habit is created in the company to do these things automatically. No more fighting, no more barriers. It's what we want to do. Let's move forward. Let's bring the best practice in now. The Japanese have got the best practice. Grab it. Let's make sure we got it right and do it properly. Oh, the Germans are doing it better than us. Let's get over there. The Aussies, hey, they've got a good idea. Let's go get the Aussie guy over here. I'm not going to hang about. There's no time left. There's no time left. Now, what we also know from research back in the 90s and done many times over again, Solomons, as a consultant in the area of change management and industry best practice, what we found in the 90s, now this stuff is nearly 20 years old now. Maintenance culture is a determinant of a site culture. The site culture determines the maintenance culture. If the site culture is, I don't give a damn, it rolls on down to the shop floor. And they don't give a damn. Because the boss doesn't give a damn. Well, if he don't care, I don't care. Yeah? Hey, look, it's time to go home, guys. Just made another buck today. Yeah? Don't really care. Performance seems unaffected by organisational type. This is interesting. A silo structure doesn't mean it's not necessarily going to work. I can use a silo structure, but I've got to structure it in a way that the interaction, the information, the knowledge, the decision making, the databases are available to make smart decisions. So teamwork and getting whatever it is that gets the right answer is what we want to create in the company. It doesn't have to be a silo structure change to a matrix structure. It's what we want to get out of our people, our business. Age is not a determinant of maintenance cost. Machinery age. If you go out there and you will see Model T Fords on the road, We've still got Model T Fords, hundreds around the world, and they're still going. We can repair machines and sustain machines. Whether it's financially sensible to do that, that's a different question. But we can renew machines. If the numbers make sense, I'd agree with that. Higher cost maintenance groups realise lower plant availability. How much you spend on maintenance isn't the determinant of availability. If you're doing the wrong things in maintenance, if you're putting work into non-value added activities, maintaining control valves every 12 months by doing integrity tests, pointless. It doesn't create availability, it doesn't create reliability. I can do the wrong maintenance very easily. And PW is all about stopping that, doing the right maintenance, just the right maintenance every time that creates reliability. Locations who train most realised highest maintenance cost and poorest reliability. We train our peoples on the wrong thing. I can send guys off to do training and training and training. If that isn't coming back as returned and improved value, then I'm doing the wrong training. So be very careful. We have to ensure that the training returns higher reliability, lower maintenance cost, better performance of our operation. And the final one, the one that's the most surprising of all, it was to me, maintenance success is ultimately determined by decisions of the craftsmen and supervisors, operations and maintenance supervisors. It's because the guys are at the machine front. The guys pull the machines apart. They put it back wrong. They don't understand how this thing actually works, or they don't tension the fasteners up properly, or we put piles of shims underneath there and don't realise that having too many shims guarantees a loose connection in future. So yeah, these are the guys that have to understand what they're doing. And those procedures that we're going to put our 3 T's into is to help them get it right every single time. So yeah, this stuff is 20 years old now and hasn't changed. It's the right focus. If you don't understand what these mean, then here's a chance to begin looking at what really needs to be done in your business. When it comes to change management, the purpose is to develop a consistent vision of what we want to achieve and to draw all these resources towards that vision, to mix them together in a way that makes that vision happen. So teamwork is part of the answer across the organisation and of course across the life cycle. Barriers, here are the barriers. I've done this way for 30 years. Well, you've been wrong for 30 years too. Change to plant and equipment wellness causes cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is my brain doesn't accept what I see. What we're saying is when we change to high reliability practices, the old habits, the 30 years of experience begins to challenge me. When I start doing PW properly, when I start following the procedures and the machines last 5 and 10 years trouble-free, whereas before it was 5 and 10 months, my mind says, well, hang on, what I used to know isn't true anymore. But my eyes are telling me I'm going 5 and 10 years trouble-free. I cannot accept the old practice anymore because that is obviously wrong, because my eyes are clearly saying this is better practice is paying off. So that's what will happen with PW. The better practices naturally produce better results. And that challenges our brain on what we used to know as what was meant to be okay. So we will expect to see guys challenging us to say, you can't do any better than we're currently doing, but we're saying, try it. Let's test this. That's why I talk about testing and trialling and experimenting. I don't want to put guys at risk. I don't want to put my people at risk of losing face. So I will never go in and do a PW change and say, we're here to change your world. We're here to improve. We're here to look at other solutions. We're here to try something a bit different. So we remove this fear and make it an interesting idea. Oh, okay, let's do a little trial period. Let's take this worst performing machine, or let's go to a small site and test it on a small site. Just a test, guys. Yeah? We're not going to guarantee anything. We're just here to experiment. But of course, we know that when we do the right things, introduce the right practices, the outcomes are going to be the right outcomes. So yeah, it's all about being fair with people, understanding they are people, they're human beings. How would I like to be treated in a situation of change? I would like to know why we're doing it. I'd like to know who's going to be involved. I'd like to know what I will get out of this change. How long will it take? How will it affect my family? How will it affect my career? I've got to have all those answers. It's not fair to go in and make a change without those answers. So there's a lot of thinking up front. PEW will definitely get the right things to do. It'll make money without question. But I've got to bring everybody with us. And that's where I have to front the fact that if I cannot convince people of what is the right thing to do, then it'll never happen. It'll never change. So we're going to take little bites of the elephant, a little bit at a time. If I've jumped too far, we're going to pull back and say, look, I don't want to do the whole plant. Now this little plant with 20 men, it's too big. Let's take 3 or 4 machines. Pull back so we get success easily. And then we can roll it forward to the whole plant once the first 3 machines are working properly. And all these things is part of change management. And as engineers, as consultants, we've got to recognise that's part of the answer. Giving our documents across to our clients is 10%, 20% of what really needs to happen. And we've got to guide them and help them and be with them all the way through. There will need to be a plan. We saw before, it has to be strategies, has to be a believable pathway to success. So one of the things that we'll work with our clients is to build this route map to tomorrow. How exactly? Now this is a particular requirement here. It has to be line of sight goals. I cannot say we are here today and in 5 years' time we're here and there's a big gap. That is a joke. That is blue sky. It's no sky thinking. That's just a big hole to fall into. Line of sight goals are literally that. I'm here today, I do this. When I do this, I can see, oh, I've got to go there. I actually step. I'm here. Oh, next step is here. Next step is here. Line of sight. And if the goal is too far out there, then I'm going to break this down into tasks, step-by-step tasks, maybe only a week-long task, maybe no more than 2 weeks. So each of these requires a week or 2 weeks of effort. If each of these is 1 year in the future, and here's a 5-year journey with 1 year goals in the future, that's mountain to climb, a mountain to climb. So if that's how I'm going to rough out the first one, by the end of each year we're going to be here, here and here, well okay. By the end of each month, what do I have to do? End of each week, what do I have to do? Now I've got line of sight. Now I can resource this, I can schedule it, I can make sure that we are on track. But if I just say, in 5 years we're going to be out there and I have no way I get to get there, then my guys are going to say, yeah boss, you lead the way, we'll follow. You've lost them straight away. So line of sight, a route map, because I've got to believe what you're telling me. And until I see it for myself that this is a real plan to achieve success, I'm just going to sit here and watch what you do. And I'm going to watch for year after year. One technique we can use is to map where companies are right now on a change matrix like this. This is one of many. This stuff's been researched to death. Pressure for change, clear visions required, capacity for change. If this change requires you to hire 10 engineers in, hey, we can't afford 10 engineers. How many can you afford? I can afford 1. Okay, well that means that process, that vision is now going to be 3 years away, not 1 year away. That's got to paint a real picture. If I can't afford to hire people, then I'm going to have to allocate 1 person from my crew to become the project guy, and I'll give you 1 person. Okay, 1 person can do this, so I go back to my plan and I factor in the resources that are available. If a company can afford to hire you and hire someone else to do the documentation, to do the training, to do whatever is required to achieve the plan, well, that's what the whole point is, to understand what is possible. So capacity, capability, what can we do? And then, and of course, as we gain more success and more money begins to free up, as our machines don't fail as much and reliability is improving and the breakdowns are not happening, now the money is available. So maybe in a year's time I can double the guys in the project and push it forward even faster. And of course, finally, the actions to be achieved. This point being is, this is the worst position to be in, this is the world's best practice. So we go in and say, well, today we see your operation like this. You're not very good. You're at the bottom end of the scale. You need to do these things to move to the top, and each of these cells explains what to do. Demotivated staff kept in the dark. No communication. General mistrust. Well, that's, if you're there today, well, that's being honest. That's no good for the future. That will not achieve the results that a level 3 will achieve, or a level 4 there. So next step up, key support staff identified for assisting and in drafting policy, taking actions and driving the process. The team, appointing internal resources to make this happen. And up we go. Representatives at all levels of management and processes to achieve the outcomes are drawn up. So our documentation begins to be built and is distributed, and people are trained to it. High level of awareness and support at all levels, staff highly motivated. We want to get up here. Once we're here, hey, we're flying. We're going to be out the front there at the leading edge of what we're doing. So this table is just about recognising how far down are we at this point in time, because we need to be up there. And part of our job as the PEW consultants is to explain to people these processes and procedures and practices that will get you high reliability. You've got to be up here to deliver those outcomes. And we're not, and part of our change is to move up that table. This isn't the only one, there are other ones around, but it's the concept that is important for us to understand right now. So yeah, from out of all that, we come up with the things that need to be done, the requirements to make that change happen. With our plan, we'll have a time scale as well. We'll have an idea of what resources and cost and implications to the business this change will require. Some of this requires financing. Now, doing the PEW is a resource requirement to pay for people's time to do the drafting of documentation. But making the change in the company, if I've got to train 100 people, if I have to write 200 documents, that's a resource, and we've got to know what that cost will be. So there's going to be what we call a bow wave. This is, if this is cost, and this is time, then it needs to be seen as investment. At time 0, we're going to invest the money, do all the things correctly, the correct procedures, correct practices, correct training. That will be an investment, begins to return money then. Now, my costs fall. But initially, I'm going to have to put money and resources in to create the processes, to put them into place so I can achieve this. And that's what this process has to do. I have to go in and say, well, look, this is going to be a $1 million investment. But PEW tells us you're going to get $10 million out year after year, forevermore after that. So yeah, it's got to be a business case. This has to be seen as a sensible, smart thing for the business to do, but it takes the effort and money and time up front. To me, it's the same as a project. If I'm going to put a new plant into place, well, I'm going to design the plant, I'm going to fund the money, I'm going to buy the earth and put the buildings up, I'm going to spend an absolute fortune with no money coming in till the operating day starts. So this is the same as capital investment. But this investment now is in our people as opposed to in our machines. The people make the machines better. The machines return money because now the profit that's being lost from waste and breakdowns and losses are being kept in the business. Again, trying to bring a big concept onto one slide. And the idea here is what sort of things and what sort of process do we in Planet Equipment Wellness want to follow to help companies get to this level of performance? Change management was a similar story. What do we want to achieve? What is the quality standards that will deliver that? These quality standards are the ACE 3 Ts. The 3 Ts are going to be what goes into the documentation. So we may not know those standards yet. Now, how aligned must two shafts be? Now, if I've got shafts between gearboxes in a driver, How much in line, how perfectly straight must these be to give me trouble-free for 10 years? Can I achieve that? Have I got the capacity and skills in the company to achieve that? So I want to set the quality standards, because those quality standards because it is only by achieving those standards that I get that tight distribution that produces reliability and the certainty of success that will bring us. So there may be some research required. So some of this expenditure time here, some of this upfront investment could be in your time, my time, their engineer's time to go and find those standards. And that might take 3 months of his time, full time, maybe. Then, of course, you have to KPI the processes you put in place, make sure those measures will prove we are achieving those results. Then a plan how to get there. Now we're into the change management. How will you get this vision? Line of sight plans. Resourcing it with people and money and time and equipment and consultants and experts, whatever is necessary to make this plan work. There will be a skill deficiency. The odds are the workforce won't yet be to the level to guarantee this. That's part of this money. This here includes bringing people up. It includes getting the right people in. And if I've got the wrong people, it includes getting them the jobs that they can do very well and replacing them with guys that have the capacity to achieve what we are trying to deliver here. Then, of course, we do these things. And this so far has just been talk and ideas and bits of paper. Now we do these things and we make sure that this distribution, this result that we plan to achieve is being achieved. And when it's not, we go back out and refine the process. I don't expect perfection on the very first try. That's crazy. But I expect to be better than what I was. And then second try better again and third try better again. So yeah, we're going to check performance and improve it because we want to achieve this. Again, nothing magical. It's a straightforward intent, well-known approach, but cannot be forgotten, cannot step past any of these points. They all have to be addressed to achieve what needs to be achieved. So again, as a summary of what we want to see happen, it's a holistic approach. It's business-wide, it's life cycle-wide. Have we got the right processes? Are we doing the right things that produce the results, that give us the quality, that give us the reliability, that drives the uptime, that allows us to make the product that the client will buy? Have we got the capacity, the money, and will we put the money in the right place? Because if we're not going to spend money, then I can't get any of this. There will be the investment required. And that investment has to be done up front and it has to be financed sufficiently to produce the processes that produce those outcomes. Of course, this is all done by people, from the CEO at the top to the janitor on the shop floor. They've all got to buy in, they all have their part. The guys on the shop floor will become the experts in their job, in their machines. The CEO will become the vision maker, the leader. His vice presidents, they're leaders. The middle management, they're leaders of their teams. I've got more teamwork, I've got more integration, I've got more information flowing, I've got more knowledge, I've got more experimentation, more scientific approach to my decision making. And this is all what people do. So though it's only a quarter of this holistic circle, it's the part that makes the biggest difference. In the end, we want it to be a habit. We are an excellent company. We are a high reliability company. We have great performance. We know the future. It's repeatable. We are in control and we are capable all the time. That's the aim of PEW, to make that happen. Because if that can be achieved, then we're going to free up fortunes that are now being wasted. We're going to be the leading lights of our industry and forever moving ahead of the rest. And the rest are going to be following us, learning from the things that we do. Trying to catch up, but we're always ahead because we never stop moving forward. So yes, the steps to success, the requirements, the change management goals, the change management best practices we have to do, the benchmarks we have to list. So all these are applied. Doctor will be used, process maps will be used, 3T procedures that will be used. We're going to use teams, we're going to use change management practice, precision maintenance. We're going to make sure that the money is recognised where it's being lost, and we're going to address those problems. So we can achieve our holistic aim through a structured methodology that we call PEW, and that change process to get from the start to this world-class outcome is part of making PEW work in companies. So we're back to here again, the process, the stress to process model. Up here, we have to put in place the right things that produce those results. This distribution that's tight and guaranteed and repeatable. And it all starts by not having our machines fail. So PW is about delivering reliability of the operating equipment, getting the company to do the right things for their machines and for their people, integrating all that together into a culture, a practice that automatically is how we do things here. We seek excellence, we drive toward excellence all the time. It isn't going to be heaven, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be better and better and better as the time goes by.
If you just look at the big plant and you don't know what equipment is in there, it seems to me it's about asset cost elimination. You don't know what your assets are. They may not be equipment, but you're using an accuracy controlled enterprise to reduce the cost. And it's not just maintenance, because we're also talking about upfront design costs, because they all merge together.
Yes.
So it would apply, the goal would apply equally well to a service company, for example.
Yes, in terms of achieving excellence and moving towards excellence and having a method and an approach to do that, this sort of philosophy and the principles would apply to anything that has a process to it.
Just like the advocates of Six Sigma, apply it to everything.
It's a principle, universal principle, The challenge here, this is focused very much on machinery and physical assets. That's where its life began. But the principles of excellence and high reliability and controlling your process to get the outcomes you want, that thinking's universal, as I can see it. Another picture like the previous one, this one really is about understanding that this structure, these requirements are part and will fit different parts of the operation of the business. Risk reduction in operations arrives from defects being eliminated. Defects are eliminated by ensuring construction, design, operations and maintenance practices are correct to produce the reliability we're after. And all this has to be built into what our business and its people are doing. And that, of course, naturally produces the ideal system for doing high reliability outcomes of our plant. So when I say we arrive at the ideal operating system to produce excellence, that's the whole point. The smallest asset management system for the least maintenance cost, for the lowest operating risk that gives us the most profit forevermore. Whatever the heck that is, comes out of this. What it is up here to try and drive it that way, all I'm going to do is add in costs, because I don't know what that is yet. When I come up this way, I know what it is. I find it along the way, and I build it into my company, and I lock it into place forevermore. It becomes a culture and a habit. Excellence is what we do here, and better is how we live. So, our world best practice, which doesn't give us world best results. There's some more things that PW adds into that first slide. That first slide is what we're all taught at university, at the seminars, what the gurus, what the consultants around the world tell us to do. It's what I learnt, it's what I was trying to do, it's what I've done, and I threw it away because it never got me the results. There's nothing here about change management. Nothing here about people, nothing here about managers understanding process control, understanding what the business is really about, nothing here about engineers getting off their bum and being out by the machines. Nothing here about teamwork. There's nothing here except a consultant being busy, a manager being busy, being able to show another piece of paper that'll fit in this part of the model. Heck, it's a joke. All right, operating risk reduction at the design stage. We're not talking about a plant, not talking about machines. This is the business. This is somebody's life. This is 1,000 guys for the next 20 years. We're building a company here, guys. A successful company. Engineering is a little bit, maintenance is a little bit of a huge thing. Operating risk reduction on the drawing board. Please give me stuff that returns the money we want. That is low cost to maintain, easy to operate, doesn't break down, makes great product. On the drawing board, design a business, not a bloody process plant. Optimise that. Design a machinery and a process plant and a layout that minimises my costs. Keep improving that until my maintenance costs are down, my operating costs are down, my efficiency is up, my energy usage is low. I'm world best practice on paper. Now turn it into something concrete with a chance of success. I'm building a business that's going to last 15, 20, 100 years. 100,000 people are going to go through this business in the coming years. They want to be happy, have successful family lives, have great careers. It's not a process plant. It's not physical assets. It's a business. But the assets have to do the right thing. Otherwise, if I get it wrong here, I'll never be successful. The business will go out of business in the near or distant future. So if we think about it in terms of building a business, then our vision changes, different perspective. Now I'm going to optimise for the best payoff forevermore. Of course, that now means what I will do in the workplace can't be the same as what I thought was sufficient. It's not sufficient. Precision maintenance, I've got to have accuracy, because if I have no accuracy, if I just say, yeah, good enough, then I have created wild distributions, some of which will look good and we'll think we're doing the right thing because we've been lucky to fall in the right part of the distribution. But that's just been luck. I haven't designed it to happen all the time. Whereas PW is about designing it to get rid of the luck. There's no luck in P&W. It's designed to work the right. So now precision maintenance and precision thinking and maintainability and availability and high reliability, low maintenance costs comes out of that design. That's what we're going to get automatically. So I'm going to have to put this into place. One more option we never had before. Nothing wrong with any of these. They're fine, but they're not enough. Not enough. Too much white space in the previous design. Too much white space. They're missing important things. So now we're down here. Now we're down to understanding what we really have to do to have high reliability of our machines. Through our PW process, we have assembled a plan for operations, for maintenance, and for the improvement of the assets and the sustenance of this outcome every single time. So we run those plans, we remove those defects, we get rid of those risks, and what we learn, we feed back to our project guys. So next time they build a new plant or get a new machine in for us, they're smarter. We've taught them, we've trained them, we've shown them a better or an issue that needs to be addressed. Now they're going to add value. This all comes from being in the precision domain. This comes from being accurate. Yeah. What is right? Please tell me what right is. Show me what right is. Teach me what right is, and I will do it right. But if you don't know what right is, and I don't know what right is, then I have just created a horrible place to work. A company that has no idea of what right is. And that's what annoyed me for all my career until I threw those books away. Because something terribly important is missing. And it's about quality control. It's about knowing what gives me that result. How do I do that? What's the step-by-step requirement? How do I measure? What skills must I have? Who else has to help me? Once I know the details, once I know exactly the right script, and the script is correct, I can do it right. You can do it right. He can do it right. Now I'm ensuring the correct needs of those assets are achieved. So yeah, this I believe is far better than what we had before. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's far better.
Is it correct to say that the ACE3T is a central part of PEW, all aspects of PEW? That anytime you look at some aspect, ACE3T is there.
What AC3T does makes all these go away.
And so no matter whether you're looking at the maintenance aspect,
Makes
the
all these
engineering
go away.
aspect, it all comes back to that.
Simple as that. Quality
The
control.
quality, if they want to have some quality control system, it still comes back to that.
What is right? How do I know I'm right? How do I measure I'm right? How do I test? There's the right, guys. Here it is. I've written it down in great detail, step by step. You know that 16-point milestone work order? No, guys, 75 steps. Here they are. Just follow the rules. If you can find a shortcut and a smarter idea, we'll experiment with that. We'll try it next time. So yeah, 3 T's is fundamental. In fact, if you put 3 T's into a company, forget the rest. Personally, this will drive you the right way. You don't need mountains more of work.
And so
You
when
need
we
the right
say-
focus.
When we say wellness, we're really saying that band right there.
Yeah,
That's the wellness
yeah.
band.
If I do the right things, I'm going to get the right results. What this does, focus on what is right. If I do the right things, I get that result.
It's kind of like the health of a human being. If you look at your blood chemistry, there are boundaries
Yeah,
for all the aspects, all the things they look at when they
Yeah.
analyze your blood.
Yeah.
And if you're inside those brackets, you're okay.
yeah, yeah. There's nothing new in any of this. It's just packaging it up in a way that is usable and is believable and in fact works. But look, the 3 T's is the guts of bringing success. What we have to do is show how much money this will free up for companies. That's the bit that every manager will ask. Gee, if I do this, what's it mean for profitability, for my career, for my people, for my business success? That's the bit we have to have answers
So you could almost, if you were coming up with a name and hadn't thought of PEW, you could almost call it ACE.
Yeah, ACE. I mean, ACE as in best of the best. Yeah.
Accuracy Controlled Enterprise.
Yeah.
And
And accurate controlled expert. I like that word, the acronym ACE. It lets us play with the human concept and the business concept. Yeah. Look, in the end, it's to get the message across. If we can find 10 words to describe what this will do for companies, and in those 10 words is ACE, I'd be happy to take that on board.
Here's where we need the unhealthy looking person to morph into Arnold. Yeah.
Yes, into our perhaps a healthy person, yeah, with a happy life, big smile on his face. Yeah. Look, as I say, we're trying to build a better process. I'm sure in time the PEW methodology will improve, may even be replaced. I don't know, but all I see now is a better solution than is out there at the moment, and that solution is to achieve this. And if I achieve this, I know what's going to happen. The rest just falls out automatically. Profit, success, happiness, uptime, reliability, low-cost maintenance, low-cost operation, high efficiency of machinery, sustainability, all the things that we want on this planet now. It's a step forward, big step forward.